Purpose Publishing Incorporated and the Black Miracles Book Owner Poster presents the Johnson C. Smith University Second Annual Arc of Triumph Gala Honoree Spotlight Series, spotlighting Mr. Pettis B. Norman, former Johnson C. Smith All-American Student Athlete Football Player and graduating class of 1962, retired All-Pro NFL tight end for the Dallas Cowboys 1962 through 1970 and Super Bowl winner, as well as player for the San Diego Chargers 1971 through 1973. Currently business owner of P&I Fuel Transportation Incorporated, as well as 10 Best Value convenience stores and much, much more. A real role model to many, we present the Honorable Mr. Pettis B. Norman.
Dr. Carter, Dr. Foster, members of the Board of Trustees at the Johnson C. Smith, students, friends, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you so much for this wonderful award tonight, to be integrated with the three extremely deserving recipients tonight fills me with an emotion that I find difficult to express. But I want you to know that I dearly appreciate it. The great preacher, teacher, writer, black minister, Howard Thurman, had this to say in one of his books. He said there are two inseparable aspects of life: the elevation of a man's soul and the elevation of society. As I look at this crowd tonight, and why you're here on a Saturday night when you can be out really having fun, it suggests to me that we have those two inseparable aspects here. The elevation of man's soul corresponding with the elevation of society. And I want to thank you on behalf of Johnson C. Smith University, the school that I love. Thank you very much for participating. My name appears on this trophy here. It says Pettis Norman. But if the truth be told, this is really not who this award and this trophy is about. There are some other people here, souls, they've had this elevation, and I stand on their shoulder, and I'm going to try to name them in very short order, if I can.
When I was 10 years old, my father passed away. My mother died when I was a senior here at Johnson C. Smith. But my sisters and brothers took up where they left off. And they gave me the support as a child growing up in the directions that my father and my mother had laid out for me. They kept me on course, on a straight track. And I have them to be thankful for whatever I have done. Wherever I am, I have them to thank for that. Went out for football when I was in the 10th grade. I quit because I needed to work. I couldn't stand myself because I quit. So I went back out in 11th grade and I was a fourth stringer. I played in 2 games for 2 minutes. went back out as a senior, and I made the starting team, but I split the time with another player. And so when I finished high school, I did not have a scholarship. I signed up to go into the Air Force. I also worked while I was in high school at a service station up on Bakersfield Road. And I signed up to go into the Air Force. And one day, a gentleman drove up in 1958. A gentleman drove up in a 1958 Bonneville Pontiac, the prettiest car I'd ever seen. Silver and blue. stopped to get some gas. There's a gentleman inside that worked with me. His name was Nate Edwards. He was an older gentleman that lived older than I. They lived on the same street, and we worked together, had been working together for years. He went out to wait on this gentleman. And this gentleman get in a conversation with Nate while I was still inside washing the car. And so after what seemed like 15 to 20 minutes, they walk up behind me. And the person that he walked in with, this person named Nate, came up behind me and stuck his hand out to say, "Hi, my name is Ed McGurk. I'm the new coach at Johnson C. Smith University." He said, what are you going to do with your life?" I said, "Well, I'm signed up to go into the Air Force." He said, "Well, have you thought about going to college?" And I said, "Well, no, because I don't have any scholarships, and we certainly can't afford it, my family can't." He said, "Would you like to go to school?" I said, "Well, frankly, I don't know. I never thought about it. That was not a reality in my life, and so I never thought about it." And he said, "Do you think you can get out of that Air Force commitment?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I've already signed up. I've already passed the test." He said, "Well, why don't you go down and talk to the recruiter and see?" And the worst thing that could happen, he would say no. He said, "If you can do that, if you can get out, I'm the new coach at Smith. I just took the job, and I'm out on my first scouting trip." He said, "I'd like to have you come to Smith. You'll be my first recruit." Now let me suggest to you, tell you that there was a reason why I didn't have any scholarships in sports. I blocked and I could tackle, but I was a receiver. I caught one pass by accident. There was a game in which Second Ward, which is a school here in West Charlotte, were playing in the big annual game, the Queen City Classic. And we had another receiver that on the team that had made All-State several years, Jimmy Oglesby. And they used to throw all the time to Jimmy, 13, 14, 15 times. And I was just there to block or tackle, whichever the case might be. And so on this particular play, they called another play for Jimmy. Jimmy came down across the middle, and I was supposed to clear out for him. And they threw it past to Jimmy. He and the defensive back went out, and they both hit the ball at the same time. The ball fell in my arms, and I almost went crazy. I never had a football in my hand. And so now I got to decide quickly what to do with it. So I whirled with the world turning around in front of me. And as God would have it, I went the right way. I scored a touchdown. In the Queen City Classic. The only score we had that night. And obviously I could celebrate. I didn't know what the celebration was all about. But that was my football career for the most part. Now the thing that had taken place at this service station, I'm going to move quickly beyond this. The thing that was taking place at the service station that I didn't know about is that Nate Edwards, the guy that I hope you will meet tonight, was the guy that worked with me. And he was talking to Coach McGurk as he pumped the gas and after he stood and talked. And McGurk had explained to him that he was on a scouting trip. And Nate had said, without my knowing, that's the best football player in the state right there.
Wow.
I didn't hear this conversation. The pumps were way out front. I'm inside watching the car. So when McGurk comes in and starts asking these questions, he is operating on what Nate has said. And he told me, as he continued to encourage me, Nate here says that you're the best football player in the state. And he said, Nate, and I said, Coach, he just put it in. He said, Nate stepped up and said, Coach, that's the best football player in the state. I promise you. So I go down, as he said, I talked with the recruiter. It was just coincidental that he had taken somewhat of a liking to me during the orientation. And he would take time to talk to me. just of course,